as we do every Wednesday at 40 past the hour. We're going to jump over and talk to our man Teddy Kekstadt. Folks, you can check out Teddy's outstanding Tiger Forex Report right under the newsletter tab. The Tiger Forex Report, new issues every Monday. You get weekly updates when warranted. Outstanding report from Teddy, folks. I encourage you to check it out. It's only $97, and it comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. You can't go wrong, man, and especially with what we got going on in this market. Teddy Kekstadt, good morning.
Morning, Tommy.
Wednesdays, I say, always interesting, man. We get that CPI, the market reacting, but, I know you talked to our man Basil last week. I haven't talked to you since we've had some tariff fears in this market. But let's look at the CPI if we can, man. Some interesting action. You have the market with some volatility, but we get a little bit of a soft print on CPI on terms of across the board. And it is interesting, Teddy, that no real huge reaction in yields or the dollar. You might think, okay, inflation isn't a big story, as you may have expected. I know we got a long ways to go, and this is a long-winded intro, but it is interesting that we get a soft inflation number and the yields kind of stay. We're not really moving just yet. What do you think of this market, man?
Well, you know what? It came out as unexpected, but not like deeply unexpected. So I think that you have to, one day does not make a trend. So I think it's a nice, a good directional, point of view as far as that number is concerned. And we'll see how it has to hit, the PPI also, the CPI is good. And that makes some sense. I mean, you got to realize that, gas prices are better than they were a few months ago. So, and these are all lagging indicators, so that's a good thing. So as far as,
sure.
This is, I would say, the beginning of, at least, the end of the old trend. I'm not saying that we're going to start trending in this new direction, but I think that, we have plateaued as far as, the inflationary thing, as far as, consumer prices as a whole. I think we're going to definitely start to see that, but it's going to take time. But this also falls into what the predictions were that I had at the beginning of the year. We're not going to really see the impact until the summertime. But now it's, it's March. So March into April into May should start to see like these soft little indications, and then by June, July, then we'll actually see if this is going to be a trend, or a lot can happen between now and the summer, right? So I'm not going to,
I was going to say, do we got enough going on in this market? You think we got enough that can happen, right? We can.
What if oil just goes back to
right?
What if oil just goes back to the mid 70s? So I mean, right now it's nice that oil has been trending lower, but it's taking time. It's grinding lower. It's not like it's not some kind of accelerating trend to the downside. Right. So, I mean, if we were to see like, I don't know, just a $5-6 rally in oil, and all of a sudden we start trading sideways there for 2 months, well, then all of a sudden something like CPI doesn't look as nice as it did today, right off the bat. Right. So so let's see how these things, if things are stabilizing in this, just because it's not an accelerated trend to the downside, it doesn't mean it's a bad thing. A slow moving trend is still a good trend. Right. I mean, if prices are dropping, I don't think anyone should be disgruntled about that. Right.
No, it's good to see, man. I know it's taken longer than I think we all expected, especially when you go to the beginning of this whole saga. But yeah, the trend is your friend. It's undeniable. I mean, when they put those headline numbers, I was seeing, lowest number since November 21, whatever those numbers are, right? Mm-hmm. Lowest numbers in a while for those numbers, for sure. And you make a great point about crude. And I think I joked with you a couple weeks ago talking about, man, I'm paying the same price for a gallon of gas as I am for a 20-ounce bottle of sugar water soda at the checkout at Publix. So it wouldn't be surprising if you get a little lift in those crude prices. Right. What do you think about the dollar? Quite the fall in terms of that real escalation to the downside, and now we're chopping kind of around the 103 to 104 area. What do you think about the action that we've had? I mean, we're at 103.70. We were at 104.25 almost a week ago, last Wednesday. So we're kind of chopping, but we're at 103.22 yesterday. What do you think about this action in the dollar? A little pressure to the downside.
Yesterday we finally hit our downside target level that we had in the Forex Report, and I like that area. I think that, I'm not going to try and call a bottom with yesterday's low. Today, I like the fact that the dollar is a little higher right now. I look at it as a profit-taking rally. The trend obviously is bearish for the dollar overall, for the past few months. But we had a very accelerated decline in the dollar over the past 2 weeks. Markets go out like they come back in. So even if the trend stays bearish to dollar, there's no reason for us to not have a little bit of dollar strength, a little recoil correction over the next week or so. So I would say that probably right now we're trading where the 103.29 area for the dollar index. I think we could probably get up to that, back up to the 105.29 area, not that big of a rally, but, kind of like that last big sell-off day that we had a week and a half ago. I think we could get up to maybe the high end of that range on that day, and then, find a little resistance there, and then you can start to trend lower again. I mean, right now I think that there's every reason in the world to see the dollar softening. Now, you got to remember yields too. If they've been very soft for the past few weeks, up until the past week and a half or so, and especially with a number like this today, yields I wouldn't say are getting firm, but they're firming up from the way they've been. They're in a profit-taking move also, meaning bond prices, 10-year prices are going down in the short run for a couple sessions, a week or so. Yeah, that's where I think you see the dollar strength. That would be a correlation that I see going hand in hand over the next week or so. And this, I would look at only as a profit-taking move. Any dollar strength or any rise in yields over the next week or so, unless there was some major fundamental information to come out that would reinforce that, I would say it's just a profit-taking move. Markets don't go in straight lines. Right?
Sure.
So.
No, for sure. I would say even talking about the stock market, we're due for a huge bounce. Even if you're bearish as can be, you can't just go from 100 to 0 in no time, man. There's got to be some bounces in both directions. That's how markets work, period. I agree completely. Of course, we got tariffs out there. You got Canada, you got Mexico. We have Europe, of course. Are there any currencies out there? Because I know we always talk about the dollar, but then you break things down so well in the report talking about individual currency pairs. Are there any pairs out there that really jump out with some movement you want to take a look at?
Yeah, I like the U.S. dollar yen trade because especially yields, even if, let's say that somewhat right, and yields firm up for the next week or so, nothing radical or anything like that, and there's dollar strength. That kind of helps get the U.S. dollar and the yen trade push this a little rally, right now, which that's another trade. They've been trending now since the first of the year. And I think that in crude, I don't think crude is going to shore up very much. So I think that you could see a dollar rally, if you will, with the U.S. dollar yen, which means it's most likely going to be a corrective rally to sell. So I think you're going to have a nice selling opportunity in the U.S. dollar yen in about a week or so.
I love it. Always great actionable info, folks. You heard it. Actionable info. Check out that Tiger Forex Report. He's got a couple great webinars under the services tab as well. Teddy, I appreciate it as always, man. We'll talk to you next week.
Take care, Tommy.